Here we go then, another My Team episode, guys. Round number 12 and the Italian Grand Prix. 5 rounds remain. I said that in the last episode, but there was actually 6. Now there's 5 rounds left, rounds 12 to 16. If you haven't seen the last episode, guys, at Zanvil, check it out. Link in the top right. Spoiler warning ahead, so this is your chance to go click off the video now. So we start off today's episode with a powertrain department event, which we had to choose where to allocate resources. I chose to basically increase a discount for the cylinder head, which is going to give us more engine power at a cheaper price. Now, events-wise, or activities-wise, I went ahead and did a sponsor conference, which is going to improve our team acclaim, and we are very close now to level 15. Now, in the last race, we actually had a brief ERS fault during the race, which gave us an extra 320 R&D points to spend, which is going to go a long way. Here is the cylinder head. So on top of the discount we already had, we got an extra 25% added to it with the event. So we're now looking at a massive haircut on the final price. So we get that on the car ASAP. And also we're going to add to that by doing the monocoque restructure on the weight reduction on the chassis. The downside though is that it's going to arrive in 3 races time, which when there's 5 races to go, that's quite a big chunk we're missing, in terms of possible results. But anyway, we also get the ECU, which is going to help fuel efficiency. But pretty much that is it for the upgrades, guys. We did have rumors in the last episode announcing we may have a regulation change for Season 2 in the works. So that has yet to be officially announced, if it does happen. So that may affect or influence how we do upgrades, and the ones we've just done may be the last ones we do. It depends on when the reg change gets announced. We need to start saving points now to protect upgrades. As you can see, we're bottom, so we need to try and take a step forward in the performance chart. Now, with 4 races to go, you can see we have a 50-point gap over Aston Martin, and we are, give or take, 50 points behind McLaren. So we are pretty much locked in P5. I reckon 1 or 2 more races where we outscore Aston Martin, and that should pretty much leave us locked in with 5th place in the constructors, and that would be some massive prize money heading into Season 2. Now, we go into practice, and tyre wear was pretty much average, literally not high or low, just right on the money. Fuel consumption surprisingly low for Monza, but usually just stuck in 8th gear, which is actually quite efficient on fuel. So we finished last, 21st and 22nd, albeit I was running at 90% ICE. And you'll see here, we're going to put on the last IC, but we are getting very close now to grid penalties because we're not going to make it on this component, I don't think. So we may have to take one, especially because the energy store and the control electronics are already pretty second-hand, and there's only 2 of those all season. So I reckon there's going to be 1 race where we take a grid drop penalty at some point in the final 5 races. And we're going to take 1 more extra round the components, and that should get us through the year. So yeah, pretty much there is your lot, and there is all the updates, and we can now jump into the practice overview. So overall, we now pick up approx 700 R&D points per race weekend. Since we recently got the driver perks level to level 2, we're now bringing in a few more R&D points, so we're helping in development and get things done quicker. Also, discounts being applied, and now crucially, after that practice session, we are going to level up to level 15, which does unlock that critical 3rd secondary sponsor. So we have 1 main and now 3 secondaries. So we'll put that on the car at the start of the next episode, and that is going to also help cash flow massively heading into next season. So that aside, it's now time for qualifying. It's time to get into business. Helmet on, let's get into Q1. So on track at the Temple of Speed, looking to hopefully have another strong qualifying. That has been actually our stronger side this season, qualifying really well and then basically trying to defend in the race and hold on to what we've got. So currently, not the best Ascari chicane. I noticed the car was struggling a little bit with the back end in terms of stability through some of these corners because we're running very low downforce here, so the back end just does not want to work. As you can see there, a big moment out the final corner, which is going to cost us some valuable time as we set at 119.1, which was actually a surprise, ahead of Sargent and Perez, and only a couple of tenths off Magnussen and Gasly. So we're actually not in the drop zone, even with that mistake. So I went for another push lap, and you can see we're pretty much matching up until the Ascari chicane, but again, we just lose the back end a bit through there, and I run wide and exit and invalidate. So that first run is in the bin, and we are going to have to burn through another set of tyres, which is not exactly ideal. So As you can see, 1.2 off the top. There's obviously time to find the final corner. Purple in sector 1 as well. So there are some positives to take, and the car seems to be not too bad. And we've taken a step forward compared to qualifying. You know, those fresher, compared to practice, should I say, those fresher components for the engine have, you know, played a big part. We now have a bit more top speed. So with a minute to go, we are going to go for the last lap. The delta is my in-between cool-down laps, which isn't accurate. So we don't really have a reference for this one. So into the first chicane, braking just before the 100. Trying to push the 100-meter board as a braking point, but I can't quite make it. Hopefully, as track conditions improve, we can get better with it. But you can see right now, making our way through Curva Grande, we're going to get our first reference with Magnussen here, sector 1, and we are up by 6.5 tenths, which is our strongest sector. Through the 4-5 chicane, use the outside curb to traction up, and then make our way into the Lesmos. Don't need to get the apex here, just carry good corner speed. Same goes for Lesmo 2, just make sure you carry high speed through here. Making our way down the back straight, DRS open as we take a breather, and now prepare for the Ascari chicane. And this is going to be 5th gear for the first 2 corners, and then up to 6th, possibly on exit as we take a short shift. There you go. Driving up to the white line, keeping it within track limits, and now take a deep breath before we head into Parabolica, the final corner. So look for the 50. That is going to be a reference point. Try to get tight on the first part and then let the car run wide. Do not do what we've done on the last run and lose the back end. And that was a very tidy lap. Up to the line we go, and it's going to be a 1:18.4 on P7. So very good stuff. Very good lap. Very happy with that. And you can see we are through in 10th place. So job done. A bunch of grid drops, including Liam Lawson. So they get a 5th place reduction or deduction. So yeah, overall good session. And we got through by about 3 tenths. So in the end, a little bit of margin. And it looks like we could be fighting for Q3 with this sort of pace. So 1:18.4, that's going to be the benchmark, the reference for the next session in Q2. So let's get into it. This is actually on a used set of tyres. The tyres that we just used. But you can see I lose the back end into the final corner. I just clipped the grass on entry. It was actually a really good lap to say it was a used tyre. We do an 18.7, which is 3 tenths off our previous lap, but that was with the mistake at the final corner, locking up and drifting through there. So there was actually a bit of time to find, and that was actually not a bad lap. So P14 for now, again purple in sector 1, and time to be found. 3 tenths right now we need to find to get into Q3, into the top 10. So here we go. A minute or so to go. Once again, we're going to send it on our very last qualifying attempt. So, fresh set of tyres. Into the lap we go. DRS wide open as we race down to turn 1. Try to aim for the 100. I've been braking just before. I'm going to try and push this one as late as I can. It's a bit too late though, and we completely outbrake ourselves massively. And that, unfortunately, is going to be qualifying done. Yeah, not ideal. Definitely not ideal. P16, you can see there overall in terms of the final lap times, considering we did an 18.4 in Q1, an 18.2 cutoff, I think was actually feasible, and I think I could have made it, especially when the top 8 were actually, you know, up to Alonso. I'd say 18.1 was possible. 17s were a bit out of the question for me, but an 18.1, you can never rule that out with track evolution. So, yeah, a little bit annoyed, but I think we may still have an okay race car. Usually the trend this season has been a better qualifying car than race car, which is against what I have been as a driver historically, but that seems to be the case with this game. So we're better in qualifying than the race, but I hope we have a bit more pace than P16, as you guys saw. So yeah, qualifying done. Let's get into the race, and let's see if we have any pace in the main event.
A difficult race awaits these drivers here in Monza, but glory awaits too at the Italian Grand Prix. With top speeds reaching 215 miles per hour, only a few places can challenge Monza's crown as the fastest track in Formula One. Hard braking zones going into the 3 chicanes make up the majority of the 11 corners on this 3.6-mile circuit. And just in case the slipstream wasn't enough, 2 DRS zones will help encourage some close action. So with the race not far away from starting, here's what today's grid rundown looks like. An immense lap from Carlos Sainz yesterday puts him in pole position, edging out Max Verstappen, who'll start from P2. Looking down the rest of the grid, we have Perez, Leclerc, Russell, Norris, Oscar Piastri, Hamilton, Fernando Alonso, Ocon, Gasly, Bottas, Magnussen, Tsunoda, Martinez, Albon, Hulkenberg, Sargent, Ricciardo, Joe, Liam Lawson, and Lance Stroll brings the grid to a close. It's almost time for the lights to go out, so let's head down to the track where preparations are underway. It's just about time to go down to the track for the beginning of the race, but before we do, Anthony Davidson, what types of strategy do you think we can expect for today's event?
Well, there's a lot that both the driver and the team have to keep in mind when going into a race. The tyres, fuel, energy recovery systems, the list goes on and on. But I think the key to today's victory will come down to the pit stop strategy. Come in too soon and you might find yourself needing more than one stop. Too late and you're putting yourself at a disadvantage by spending longer on worn tyres.
Here we go then. Time for the Italian Grand Prix, and we have work to do. Big work to do. P15, I think we have okay pace. Again, I mentioned in the last episode, we seem to be good in qualifying, not so good in the race. Now, in terms of qualifying, I think I could have got Q3. Does that translate to race pace, aka top 10 pace? Who knows? We're going to find out. Anyway, for this one, strategy, the recommended strategy originally was a soft medium, but I'm going to invert that to a medium soft. Even that is a bit marginal in tyre wear, so we may still go medium hard depending on how the race goes. But key thing is starting on medium. It gives us a good enough tyre to fight with and we're not going to get destroyed straight away. The key thing also is fuel. Now, practice, the race sims were about 48.8 kg. I'm running 49.2, which should be more or less okay. That equates to 0.6 or a lap extra. And yeah, we've got the race tyre pressures locked in. If you haven't seen those guys, then check out SRC. But yeah, let's get into it. Let's get into this race and let's try and fight back into the points once again. So one thing that's critical is going to be tyre temp. Tsunoda on mediums, everyone else seems to be on softs, and that seems to be the preferred tyre. One thing I have noticed is that we do have a fresh soft available, so that is a plus. We now could potentially go for the option in the race, but anyway, we'll judge that in 15 laps time or so. For now, we're going to focus on maximising this tyre and having a strong race. So let's get into it. Let's line a rock, and let's try to be aggressive and send it. Showtime. Let's get to it. Lights are on. And they're out. And away we go. Bad start for Ocon. It's a mixed start for us. We pretty much match Tsunoda. Going to be on the outside here, so got to be careful. Into one. Traffic moving a bit better on this outside line, so we're going to move up the order and get P13. We're going to edge ahead of Magnussen there, so not bad. 2 places gained, we'll take that. Down to the chicane we go. Brake early, be careful to not get caught out there and lose a front wing. Let's see if we can try and hopefully hold on to these soft runners. I think my wings are a bit low. Yellow flag behind. Have we got an early DNF? I think we do. Someone's lost it. And they've got going again though, so just a little half spin there in the Lesmos. Magnussen looking for a pass, but we're going to keep our car ahead, although we're not out of the woods just yet. The AI are very strong through Ascari. Big battle ahead, by the way. You can see this is going to be the theme of the race. You guys know by now, you've watched enough races on my channel to know how Monza works. You don't have to be quick around here, you have to be smart. The AI lose a lot of time in wheel-to-wheel combat, so it's about race management. So we're going to see if we can make that work in our favour. Albon, Magnussen are going to pull to either side here. We're going to outbrake them both as we head to the first chicane, trying to not also run into the back of the cars in front. We're going to get Tsunoda. Hamilton down in P10 on mediums, struggling here. All too wide down the back straight. Going to make it 3 wide. This is brave. Going to extend the braking zone and go very deep and have a look at Alonso, and just like that into the top 10. Massive move there. Cautiously aggressive, I would describe that one. Just making a smart move, smart play at the right time. Let's see if we can try and catch up to Gasly. Also, Piastri ahead on mediums. If we can keep up with that, that would be awesome. Big battle ahead for P3.
Okay, DRS will be enabled this lap. You can use it when you're within 1 second of the car ahead and in the DRS zone.
I think we've got a good car today. A really good car. Early signs catching up to Gasly here very easily. Big battle here ahead for P3. So let's just see how this goes. We are well in this race, by the way. Qualifying essentially meant nothing now because of this race start. So now it's about race management. Alonso dropped back, so not sure if we got overtaken or lost time battling. But look how slow everyone's driving here. Gonna try and have a look here at Pierre into the Lesmo. Oh, a lot of understeer. I'm going to run him out of road there by accident. Apologies, Pierre, mate. Front end just did not cooperate. That's my low wing in full effect. But P8 right now, and now we have a bunch of medium runners ahead, so we're going to be in a bit better company. 3 wide up ahead. Bottas with a good exit there. He seems to be pretty quick. No DRS for me, so we're going to be on the back foot. But you can see we're still holding on. Even without DRS, our straight line speed is pretty decent. Bottas moves across and just forces me onto the curb there. We've seen penalties for that in real life, but we managed to survive and not lock up and get away with it. And one of the Red Bulls has got away, so this is now a battle for P4 up ahead. So now both Ferraris and both Red Bulls have broken away. So it's both McLarens versus both Mercedes up ahead. We're going to get flanked on either side here, but we're going to edge back in front because of the straight line speed we have. Bottas is going to challenge on the braking, but we're going to brake late enough that we'll keep him at bay. Russell now pulls away. Actually one Merc, not two. I thought it was both Mercs, but it's just one. We did pass Hamilton, to be fair. This is fine though. I mean, I'd be happy, to finish P8, but if we can obviously pick up some places along the way, that would be a nice bonus. Right now, I'm currently trying to charge the batteries a little bit. We used quite a lot in that initial phase, so try not to use any and be smart with the race management. Hamilton has overtaken all the cars behind, and he's now on the chase, dragging cars with him, which isn't ideal. Looks like Piastri has managed to break free, so now only Norris and Russell remain in this scrap, and now Norris going through on George. This is good though. Again, playing the long game, just trying to stick with and also recharge. The back end does not like that chicane. Sonoda has overtaken Hamilton, and he's actually not in Sonoda's DRS, but they're all catching behind, so this isn't over yet. This is going to be constant action this race. I really don't have much pace when the AI choose to drive coherently and make no super mistakes. Personal best on that lap, which says a lot about, the pace if we push. Oh.
Yellow flag.
Yellow. Someone ahead. Verstappen. Whoa, big one. The championship leader out the race, and that gives us P7.
Okay, clear.
Massive moment. We've just dropped out of DRS range here though, which isn't ideal. Not sure I'm going to get it. I think I may have been dropped. Let's see. Wasn't the best chicane. I'm struggling on rear tyres. And yet we do not have DRS, but luckily we're close here, so it's not a bad thing. But this is now a battle for P5. Oh, here we go. Norris in, that's for hard tyres. It's got to be. Leclerc in there as well. So let's try and stretch this to set of softs. Let's stick with George. Let's see how long he stays out for. This could be interesting. Hamilton pit on that last lap, so I'm assuming George will pit on this one, and so will Piastri. So it seems like all the AI are going for medium hard, so not a soft. Makes me wonder, should I revert back to maybe an original strategy? But you know what?
Box, we're coming in this lap.
Let's try and make it work. Let's see how we get on pace-wise on this lap. Going to stretch this one more lap, just to make sure we can have a nice, smooth run on the softs. Pace wasn't terrible on that lap, to be fair. Only a 10th off my PB with DRS on the pit straight. Okay, the pace wasn't too bad. I'm hoping to rejoin just behind Hamilton. That would be perfect, so let's see if we can make that happen. What we need now is a nice smooth stop, unlike the last race. So hopefully no issues. Into the pits we go. Don't speed. There we go, perfect entry. Right. Tyres, 66 on the left rear, taking a bit of damage on that one, but it means now we get to do a little 11 lap stint on the softs, fresh softs, which is massive. Here we go. Critical pit stop in this race. 2.5, it's on the money. It's not bad at all. I think we might lose DRS on Hamilton though, we're a bit too far back.
Look after these tyres now. You want to finish the race on this compound.
Not a million miles away though, we can definitely work from here. These soft tyres are going to help also in the short term, in where we're a bit weaker in sectors 2 and 3, so let's get to work. Let's try and fire these up gently, bring them into a nice temp, and we'll start also using battery on the next lap to try and go for the fast lap of the race as well, which is something I want to try and get. I was hoping to get DRS on Hamilton, but I don't think we're going to get it. Just a little bit too far back, he's a bit too quick, but we've used all the battery in this one. A 20.1 is the time to beat. Not the best final corner, but you know what? I reckon it's going to be on the money anyways. There we go, 19.5. I reckon that will do it. That should be an extra point if we finish in the points. Just taking it easy now. I'm going to see if I can get some recharge. We are easily catching Norris now, so we're probably going to bunch up again. So that's going to, cause a bit of a bunching up effect. So then we have to basically use these tyres and time it right, make an overtake, and make sure we can make it stick and drive away. So now it's about management and also trying to save some tyres. We're going through them pretty quickly. Oh, contact between the Mercs. Russell is out of shape. Yellow flag.
Okay, the incident's been cleared. Let's get back up to racing speed. Come on.
I reckon Toto's going to be fuming with that one. My pace isn't great, so I'm not sure if I can pass Lewis. I wonder if also either one of them have got damage in that one. Looks like they're both okay. Here comes Russell, burning the batteries. Again, I'm trying to save. I'm looking to pick something up at the end of the race, not now, so just playing the long game here. Russell's going to force Hamilton defensive here, and this is now allowing the McLaren to get away. So, yeah, this is getting scruffy. Hamilton with another mistake there. No pressure from behind, so this is okay. P6 is still a possibility. Lewis is making a lot of errors. Unfortunately for me, I will admit there's one issue here. There's two overtaking zones, this straight and the main straight, and both corners leading up to this straight, I unfortunately have a massive deficit to the AI. I'm just not good, out of the crucial exits. Even this one, to be fair, I struggle so much compared to them. You can see the gap Hamilton gets on me there. I can't produce an overtake out of these zones. The only place I can pass is closing into the first chicane, and I can probably traction up better than the AI and get them on that curve back straight down to turn 4, but that is literally it. You can see just in this final sector how much Hamilton has gapped me easily. Let's see what we're looking at into turn 1. Hamilton's used a lot of battery. Not sure how much he's going to have left in the tank, but we'll also see what Russell has left in the tank to fight with. Here we go, onto the last lap. Using the battery to try and close in. Hamilton goes through clean. I was hoping for a bit of side-by-side here. But we could still get George if I can nail this exit. First phase, not great, but we're locked in, close enough that we can have a look. Here we go. Down the inside.
Okay, just 2 laps of fuel remaining now.
Through we go. Can we stay close to Lewis through here? I'm not very good through the Lesmos. But if I can just be close enough in DRS, I might have a challenge into Ascari. I think I'm a bit far back. We'll close in massively. The Merc isn't super quick, but I'm out of battery as well, which isn't ideal. I think Lewis is going to get this one. Let's also try and make sure we can hold on now, because Russell's going to get a big run here. Going to try and fight for a slipstream from Hamilton. Russell closing, but not quite enough. Not out of the woods yet, though. The AI is so good out of here. We have a bit of a moment. Russell tries to go through. We're going to try and hold it up to the line.
Okay, pick up rubber and bring it home.
There it is then, victory in the Italian Grand Prix, an historic race and an achievement they can be immensely proud of. Anthony Davidson, How do you think they were able to set themselves apart today?
I really feel the track layout combined with the track temperatures we saw today suited their car. These cars come alive when the tyres are just at the right temperature, and the driver did a great job managing that as well. They just look so comfortable out there. It's like anything, it always looks so easy when it all just clicks.
Looking at the podium, you can see that red suit familiar to fans across the globe. A world-class win for a world-class team. Ferrari, do it again.
Right, so job done then in Monza. We do lock in the fastest lap of the race, the only man in the 119, so that is going to be an extra point for us, and we did just get George over the line and held on. So P7 for us, very good race management, good race IQ, and overall very happy with our performance. I think I could have obviously done a bit better, but it's always tough to kind of plan what the AI are going to do around Monza. They're so unpredictable and so tough to race. Leclerc though wins, Sainz second, making it a Ferrari 1-2. That Verstappen DNF could be costly for them in the championship as Perez finishes third. Then it's both McLarens in P4, P5. We split the Mercs, and then Gasly, Tsunoda round out the top 10. Aston Martin do not score a point, Alonso P11, and then Stroll down in P18. Lawson 19th ahead of Zhou on track, and also Sargent, so some progress being made by Liam, and Verstappen the only DNF from that race. Standings, we are 6th, and we have a 10-point gap over Norris, who is slowly closing in, as is Russell and Piastri. In the Constructors, we are 5th, and we extend our lead of Aston Martin, and with 5 races to go, or 4 races to go, I'm not even sure now. Either way, it's looking pretty good, I will admit. Red Bull only 5 clear at the top in the Constructors, and Verstappen now only 11 clear at the top in the Drivers, so it's wide open. Guys, like the video, subscribe for more, always, it just massively helps me, guys, that sort of support. It just goes a long way, and does really improve the channel. So leave a like, subscribe if you're new. As always, a shout out to the members for supporting all the content in the background. And yeah, as always, cheers for watching, guys. Massively appreciate it. Check out 2 videos on screen if you haven't seen them. And yeah, I'll see you in the next one. Take care, and let's goodbye from me.